Dave here again with the second lecture in my series on pivot tables and pivot charts. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now, in the last lecture we looked at creating a pivot table from scratch, but there is another option. Excel is pretty clever because it will recommend the kind of pivot charts or pivot tables that might be of use to you in some particular circumstances. So, for example, looking back again at the sales data, I can go to Insert, and last time we looked at pivot table here. This time we're going to look at recommended pivot tables. So when I click on this option, I now get this dialog box up. Now you can see that the data I was using is automatically selected. But over here we have a number of different options that Excel is suggesting ways in which we can slice and dice or analyze these data. So the first one it has is sum of unit price by city. So every time you see a sum of, it means that it's adding up a particular data field in the data set. So it's got the total unit price in effect, analysed by city. So you can see we've got Boston, Los Angeles, New York, San Diego, the total of the unit prices and the grand total. If I go down to the next option, it's got the sum of the total price by city. So these are the field names that we associated with the data, the raw data over here. The next one is slightly more interesting. It has two numeric fields that it is summarizing for you. So we've got the sum of quantity and the sum of total price by city, and so on. And there are quite a number of different options that Excel will intelligently suggest to you. One of these might suit your purposes, and therefore you don't have to think so much about it. Let's select this one down here, right, because it has two numeric fields. And when I select it by clicking on it and selecting OK, you can now see that I have a new sheet. So by default, it puts it into a new sheet. The pivot table is over here. So we have the row labels, which are the region, with city inside that. And over here, we have the sum of quantity and the sum of total price. And if we look over here at the pivot table fields, we can see that the order date is selected, the region and the city. And you can see that the values are the sum of quantity and the sum of total price. Now I can drill down into these data by clicking on the plus sign. So for example, if I click on the minus sign beside the eastern region, all of the underlying data is hidden. If I open that up by clicking on the plus sign, the cities are now exposed. And when I click on the Boston plus sign, now I can see each order date that happened in Boston, how many were bought, and the total of the total price field for that particular date. So the underlying data is exposed. Over here on the pivot table field, as I showed you in the last lecture, you can take particular levels off. So if I don't want to see the order date, for example, I can drag it into the worksheet and it disappears from the pivot table. Now dates are an interesting one because when I put this back onto the grid, so I'll go to order date and I'll drag it down onto the rows option. Now watch what happens. Well, now you can see that it has actually grouped the dates automatically, and Excel pivot table does that automatically. So now I have year, and within that I have quarter, within that I have month. Okay, so it groups the data automatically. That's a particular thing that happens with date fields. Again, as I showed you before, if I want to filter it, I can click on the any of the fields that I want to filter by. So by category, the filter comes on to the pivot table, and I can say, well, I only really want to look at, so I select multiple items, I only want to look at snacks, so I'll take crackers off it, and cookies, because I'm very partial to cookies and snacks. And when I press OK, the data is automatically summarized only for those selections that I've made. So that's how to use the insert recommended pivot tables when you're creating pivot tables. So it can be very useful to do that. It could save you a lot of time because Excel will intelligently suggest options for you. Now let's just go back into our original pivot table, which is here. When I look at this one here, notice that whenever you're in a pivot table, the pivot table fields are going to be shown, but also we've got the pivot table tools menu bar, which only appears when you're on the pivot table. If I click off the pivot table anywhere, both the fields and the pivot table tools disappear. So I click back onto the pivot table, and we've already looked at the pivot table and the quadrants. Let's have a quick look at the pivot table tools in this lecture. So on the pivot table tools, we have two options, Analyze and Design. Now, if you've already done, I'm assuming that you have a certain level of Excel at this point in your career, but so some of this will be second nature to you. So the styles, for example, when I click onto this particular pivot table, I can now change the styles by clicking on this pull down menu. So we've got lots of different styles, and indeed you can create your own one, but we'll do that in a different lecture. Then the other options are here, or we can have banded rows. So I click on that and you can see the effect on the pivot table. You can have banded columns and you can see the effect again, and I can take them off. I can also have row headers on or off, and I can have column headers on or off. And there's some other different options here, which again we look at in different lectures. On the Analyze option, we have quite a lot of things. So one of the most important is that you can name the pivot table here. So I'll call this one region. Press return, and now this table has a particular name. Now, when I click on the name box in the standard Excel name box, I can't see that. I can only really see it when I click onto the pivot table and pivot table tools, and now you can see I can see the pivot table name. So it's very specific to the pivot table. One of the other things that I want to point out to you is that you can select particular fields in the pivot table. So for example, if I click on the region field, you can see that region is now the active field. If I click on the sum of quantity is the active field. So you can select fields here. And when you have a field selected, so going back to region, I can now do things with that field. So if I select field settings, for example, I can give the field a custom name. So something is selected the way I want it to, rather than the field names that were taken from the raw data. So I can change that here. So that's field settings. On the numeric one, if I select sum of quantity on field settings, this can be very useful. I get value field settings. And one of the things I can do, for example, is change the number format. So I can change that to be a number with more decimal places, with thousands separated, and so on. So I can change the format of the look of the particular field. I can also choose the type of calculation that I want. So by default, when you create the pivot table, it assumes that you want to sum the data, but you might not want that. You might an average, you want min, max, whatever. You might want the product of something. So you don't have to go with the default. You can change it using value field settings. We just leave it as it is for the moment. What else do we have up here? Well, we've got slicers, which are really important because they allow you to analyze the data in different ways. So I'll show you one example, but we will go into it in more detail later on. So when I click on the Insert Slicer, we get the Insert Slicers dialog box. It shows me the field headings, the ones that were on the raw data that I created. And now I can slice the data up by different slicers. We see that working now. So for example, if I select Product and press OK, I now get a slicer up based on product. And now I can differentiate between the different products that I want to analyze. So for example, say that I want whole wheat. Well, there's nothing for whole wheat because there's no data for it. If I select pretzels, I only see the data for pretzels. So pretzels were only sold in the eastern region in Boston. If I select chocolate chips, which I really, really like, well, there's quite a lot of those sold, which is really not too much of a surprise. If I want multiple things, or if I want both chocolate chips and potato chips, yummy, yummy, I'll hold down the Control key on the keyboard and press potato chips. And now you can see when I move the cursor away from the slicer that chocolate chips and potato chips are both highlighted in blue, and the data changes appropriately. So that's slicers. Slicers are really, really important. To go rid of the slicer on the screen, just highlight it and press the remove or the delete button. So that's slicers. So let's look at Analyze again. Is there anything else I want to really draw your attention to? No, there are some really, really, really important elements here. We're going to look at those in detail later on in further lectures, But one of the things that you can do here is you can turn the field list on and off here. So if you get confused and you lose sight of that field list, you can get it there. So in this short lecture, what have we looked at? Well, we've looked at how to create pivot tables using the Insert Recommended Pivot Table option. When we're on a pivot table, we've looked at the Pivot Table Tools options very briefly. We've looked at design and we've looked at the options, or the most important options, on the Analyse ribbon. In the next lecture, we're going to look at these options in a lot more detail. In the meantime, don't forget, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hope you've enjoyed this lecture and that you've learned something useful, and I'll see you in the next lecture in this series. Bye for now.